Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a pair of earrings using these gorgeous pave beads that were in the strand for Grateful Heart. Well, I've got a few other remaining beads from Grateful Heart down here. There's not very many. I used most of them on the lariat, but there are a few. So let's turn down and we'll get working on those. Now I have, like I said, these beautiful pave beads, which were in the strand for Grateful Heart, and as were these crystals and these crystal spacers. Now these beads were actually in the bead pack. These are from my stash, as are the little daisy spacers and the ear wires. And these two little crystal spacers here. So these are stash things. These were from Grateful Heart. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little wire ball head pin here. We're going to put this bigger crystal here on this rice style crystal on the end of it with a couple of spacers, and that's going to be our bottom piece. So let's do a little bend here so we have that in place so they won't roll off, and then we'll of course do it to our second one as well. Oh, come on, you. So there's those ready to be wrapped up. Now the other half, what we're going to do is we're going to take this eye pin. This one has a big wowie at the end of it here. Oh, well, we won't need that. So then we're going to put one of the little spacers here. This pink one. The smaller of our crystal spacers. Then one of these caps, and then the next thing is going to be our pave beads, but these are pretty good holes, big, good sized. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my rubber tubing. Don't have a lot left, but I do have some, and we're going to go into there. See, it's big enough here that this fits. So then we want to take and cut this off right here at this end. So we have a piece of the rubber tubing inside our pave bead. We'll do that with the second one as well. Come on, there we go. So then they'll be not so big hold. So put our little bit of rubber tubing back in its baggie and put it aside where I keep it so that I have it the next time I need it. Come on, baby, down in there. Then we will, of course, since we have that rubber tubing in there now, we will put that on. And the rubber tubing just slid out, so we have to push it back down in. Then we're going to take another one of these caps, go over the top. Now this one isn't really as necessary because we're going to be using now the big crystal spacer and then this crystal. And see, you can't see it as well right there, but because I put it on the other side and I wanted consistency, I was going to put it on anyway. So here's then what this side is going to look like. Now, when you put these on, you can either just put them on like you would normally and wrap them on there, or you can open up the eye. Since I want to open up the eye, making it a little bit simpler to do this, and I just knocked my piece over here. There it is. I'm going to wrap these up first, and then we'll put them on the eye. And we can put them on before the beads go on or after, however we want to do it. But I do want to do them prior to wrapping the last of the beads up because, well, it's just simpler. So back up there on you. We'll get my bell making pliers out. We want our stepped because we want that tiny step down there. And we'll go in here and go up and over and around and bring her down. And now if I'm not going to open up the eye on the other one, oops, come on, get Daisy Spacer, get out of there. I would leave a gap here and then just put it on when I did my little Daisy Spacer's trying to escape here. We don't want that. So then we'll do the same over here. Bring her up and around and over. Down. No, get out of the way. Now this one doesn't want to pull as easily. These are steel head pins, so they are a little tougher. So I took hold of it and just pulled it so that it made a better loop here. I'm going to take hold of it right here, bring this down because it's up too high, and then take a second pair of pliers. Now I would not try to do these pins by hand because they are stainless steel and they're a little tougher than if they were like brass or copper or something. As you can see, they're trying to bend each other up and go every which way, and I'm insisting they go the way I want them to. And I will straighten them up when we're done because they are going crooked. As you can see, this is already crooked here, so we're going to try and straighten this so that we can get that last little bit of wrap in there because it's just being difficult. So we have to again hold and get that last bit into there. So now we'll straighten this up a bit more again. Okay. Do the same with this one. Get it where they come together. And wrap it up. It's trying to tuck downwards. I don't want it to do that. The Daisy Spacer out of the way. These are being very stubborn because they are just long enough for what I want, and they are steel, so they are being a bit difficult. There we have those. Now we'll open up our eye pins and hang those on. So now we will put our beads on the top like we wanted them. So it's the little spacer, the pink, the little crystal spacer, this bead cap, our pave bead with our rubber tubing, bead cap, crystal spacer, and crystal, and little spacer. So then it's going to look like so. So I'm going to now bend this over, and we'll load up the second one. So just the same way, little spacer, pink, small crystal spacer, bead cap, pave bead with the rubber tubing inside. Bing, go down there. You have to stay down there with your bead. There we go. Bead cap, larger crystal spacer, our crystal, and the small daisy spacer. So there's number 2. So we will fold this one over, and now we need to put them on their posts. Now you can do that by putting them directly on, or you can use a little bit of a little tiny jump ring. And I think I might use a little tiny jump ring for these. So we go in with our bell making plier up and over and around. Now if you use round nose pliers, that's fine. Just because I like to use these doesn't mean that you have to. I just like them because they have a nice side, they make a nice loop, and it's pretty consistent, unless I do something to mess it up. And so now we will get our pliers back out. Take hold of one of these where they come together. I'm going to switch hands so I can wrap with this one, and then we're going to wrap this baby up. Now we'll trim this. Oop, I obviously didn't get a good hold. There we go. Now we will tuck this baby in. So this one is now ready to just be put onto its post. So again, we'll do the same with this one. Grab hold where they come together. I'm going to switch hands. Then I'm going to wrap this one. Cut this little bit off, and That one flew. Tuck that in. So there is our 2 earrings. They just need to go onto their posts now. Aren't those pretty? So now we'll get a couple of Tinky Tots and knock those out of our jar. Just need to. This one looks to be a teeny bit bigger than the other one, so we will switch it. Open our Tinky Tot up. Go through our loop here and onto our earring post. And close her up. Now that didn't close quite the way I like it. It's one side stuck up a little bit, so I'm going to get my pliers in and give it just a teeny pinch. And there we go. So there's number 1. Now we'll get number 2 out. Oop. In this one, on our ear wire, or our post, I should say. Close this up. Now this one closed up much cleaner than the other one did, which is nice. So there they are. Now I'm going to change those earring bags to the kind I prefer, which have a silicone nut in them. I think these hold a little better because see how this one well, this one's not, but the other one was sliding pretty good. So we'll put that on there. And there is this one all finished. Now we'll trade this one off. And our earrings are done. Aren't those pretty and sparkly? So there we go. There's our pretty pave earrings from a Grateful Heart. Those pretty. Talk about a sparkle. I think they turned out quite nicely. Now, if you had wanted to put a different crystal in here instead of the pink one, I used the pink one because that was the color of the box, and that was one of my few remaining beads. And you could put a crystal or another clear crystal or blue one so that then it would just be the blue in the clear. But I think these are very pretty. So here's the other one. So there we go. That's what they look like. I hope you enjoyed making these with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and like I say, these are some of the remaining beads, all of the beads themselves as well as the pave, and one of these crystal spacers came from the Grateful Heart SoftFlex kit. Though, well, that's not quite true. These 2 beads here came from the kit. The pave and the crystal spacer and this top crystal came from the bead strand. Aren't those pretty? I really like the way they turned out. So this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.